Hello. Thank you for joining us today as we explore how to participate in a Zoom session. So, Zoom is one of the video conferencing tools that is approved by the School District of Philadelphia for use with students for our virtual online learning. The other tool that is available for this is Google Meet, and that is probably the tool that we're most familiar with because that is the one that we had available to us at the end of the school year last year. Okay, but this year we have options and we have Google Meet and we have Zoom. So the process for getting to a Zoom meeting is very similar to what the process was for getting to a Google Meet. The students will sign into their Chromebooks, they will go to Infinite Campus, they will click on their message center, then they will click on Google Classroom. From there, they would click on into their class and they would click on the link that the teacher has posted. Once they click on the link, they will be asked to put in their name. It is a good practice to get the students into the habit of making sure that they put in their correct first and last name. After that, they can click join. They may be asked for a passcode. If they are, the teacher will probably have that posted in Google Classroom as well. So once that happens, they're going to go into what is called the waiting room. And that's what you're seeing on your screen right now. If we think about the traditional school setting, the waiting room is like the students standing in the hall outside the doorway to the classroom, waiting for the teacher to let them in. Okay, so we are going to let our student into our Zoom session. And you'll see that the screen is going to change. While that's working, I want to point out to you that this black box area is our Zoom meeting. Okay, and if I click on the white bar at the top and I drag my finger down on the mouse pad, what I notice is that this is a box that actually kind of lives on top of my computer browser, right? This is where we go when we want to look at something on the internet. And this is a window that kind of opens up on top of it. Okay, now that's important because what happens sometimes is we click, or our students will click to go to another tab or to go back to Infinite Campus or to go to Google Classroom, and it looks like our Zoom window disappeared, right? Because now where did that go? Okay, we know it didn't disappear because we can still hear our teacher talking to us and everything's working fine. So how do we get back to Zoom? We need to come down here onto the shelf, and right here, this blue icon with the camera, if I hover over it, I even see the name. There is Zoom. So if I click on it again, my Zoom window opens and I can see my teacher and the other students in class again. Alrighty, so this is what Zoom looks like. And I want to take a quick walk around the tools that are available inside Zoom. So we're going to start here with full screen. So when we click on full screen, you'll notice that it covers the entire Chromebook screen, and we can't now see the tabs, or we can't see the browser that is happening behind this window anymore. Okay, it's still there, we just can't see it. Okay, so this is the full screen setting, and to get out of that setting, we can either click right here on exit full screen, or we can touch the ESC or escape button that is on the top left corner of our keyboard. Okay, so this is our Zoom window. So the next one over is going to be our settings wheel. And when we click on the settings wheel, we notice that there are some things that we can come in here and change in regards to the video, and the same thing with the audio. So remember that video is what we see, okay, and the audio is what we hear or how others hear us. Okay, then the next one is our accessibility, and this is just the buttons that you can press on the keyboard to make different things happen in Zoom. Okay, so generally you would have to click, but if you know these buttons, then you can use that instead of clicking. Okay, this button here is something we can click to make these show up all the time in our Zoom session. Okay, these other two pieces here are not really anything that's important, so we're not going to cover those at this time. Alrighty, so that was our settings. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the view. So there's two different ways that students can look at their screen when they're in a Zoom session. Okay, I'm actually going to go full screen so that we can see things a little more clearly. So when we are in this view where we have one person in the middle and we would see several students down the side, that is our speaker view. Okay. And so our students, if there was more students in this class, they would show up all down the side of the screen. And our teacher is here in the middle. Okay. If I want to change to gallery view, I'm going to come and click this button. And now I would have a grid and I would see a bunch of different boxes that show all of the other students and my teacher in the class. Okay. Now this time we only have 2 people in this Zoom session, so we have nice big boxes. The more students that are here, the smaller the boxes get to a point. And then if we have even more than that, what we'll see is an arrow over here to move, and we can kind of scroll through the different participants. Okay, so if we want to go back to speaker view, we're going to come up here and we're going to click, and now we see speaker view. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come on around down to the bottom of our screen, and we're looking at our microphone and our camera. Okay, so this is our sound, and this is right now it is muted, which means the sound is turned off. We know that because there's a red line on top of it. And if we click on it, then that would turn the microphone on. Okay, next to there is the arrow that lets us get into some settings if we need to adjust settings if something's not working. Okay, we have audio settings here. Okay, next to that is our camera. So again, if we want to turn the camera on, we can just click on the camera. Right now it's turned off. So notice that it says start video down here. Even though it says video, and I know when I hear video, I think of a recording. That's not this case. This is just the camera turning on and off. It's not necessarily being recorded. Okay, so just want to help you feel a little bit better about that. So, ideally this would say start camera, but that's okay. So we're either going to turn our camera on or off, and right now there's a red line, so we know our camera's off. If there are things that we need to fix with our camera, we're going to click on that arrow, and then there's some video settings that we can click on to see if we can fix whatever's happening wrong with our video. Okay, or with our camera. All right, so we're going to move over to our participants. So this will show us a list of the people that are in our class. Okay, this box can be moved around, it can be resized, and we're going to delve more into what all of this information is in a later video. So I'm just going to close this box for right now. And the next one over is our chat. Same thing, I can click on the top of the chat box and I can move that around on the screen, and I can resize it. And if I don't want it up, I can click on the X, and that will close the chat window. Okay, so one of the last tools that we're going to discuss is the share window. Now, the teachers may ask students to share their screens if they are working on a project, and they're going to share their screen so they can show their project if the project is on the computer or the Chromebook. Teachers may also ask the students to share their screen if they're trying to help them troubleshoot something that may be going wrong on the computer. Okay, most of the time though, share screen is going to be turned off. And if it is turned off, if a student clicks on it, they're just going to see this message. Okay, the student didn't do anything wrong. The teacher just has not turned on the ability for the students to be able to share their screens. So we'll just click OK, no problem. All right, so the last thing that we're going to discuss for this video is how to leave our meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and click exit full screen so our Zoom screen goes a little smaller because I want you to see what goes on. Okay, and so notice we still have our Zoom icon down here, and it's got a line underneath it because this is active right now. Same thing with our Chrome. This is our Chrome browser, and it has a line underneath it because we have Chrome open in the background over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click Leave Meeting, and then we're going to click Leave Meeting again. Okay, and now we've left the class. Now, sometimes the teacher will always have a button, and sometimes to end the meeting for all. So, depending on what's happening at the end of class, the teacher just may end the meeting for all of the students. Or if the teacher is still having to talk to maybe 1 or 2 students, answer a few questions, but class is over and the rest of the students can leave, they can click that Leave Meeting button, and they can go ahead and go on with their day. Alrighty, so from here, we're just going to click the X to close this window. And now we see that the Zoom icon went away from our shelf because we're no longer in our Zoom meeting. All right, so that was how to participate in a Zoom session. Remember, the process is very similar to that of Google Meet. We signed into the Chromebook, went to Infinite Campus, clicked on the Message Center, clicked on Google Classroom, go into Google Classroom, and click a link for Zoom that the teacher has posted. We'll put in the information, and then we're in the waiting room, right? And then once we're in the waiting room, which is like standing in the hallway outside our classroom, then once the teacher is ready, they'll let us in and we're in class. And once we're in class, we have all of the ability to have our camera on or off, have our microphone on or off. We can see the participants. We can participate in chat. If the teacher allows it, we can share our screen. All right. Thank you very much. That's it for our video today. And we appreciate you joining us.